Welcome back to another episode of Unseen Yet Unstoppable. I hope you all are having a blessed day. I hope this episode will add value not only to your day, but to your life. Today we're diving into an ancient text that honestly feels like a GPS for our crazy modern lives. It lays out this incredible story, a tale of two paths, two completely different ways to live, leading to two wildly different destinations. So let's start with a big question. What if underneath all the noise, all the notifications, all the endless choices we have to make every single day, what if there's really only one fundamental choice? We are going to explore this fundamental choice by diving into Proverbs chapter 12. It argues that every single one of us is walking on one of two very distinct paths. This isn't just a random list of inspirational quotes. The whole chapter is set up like a showdown, a direct point-by-point comparison. On one side, you have the godly person, someone who's all about wisdom and integrity, and on the other side, you have the wicked, a path that's really defined by deceit and looking out for number one. The text puts them head to head over and over to show how their choices lead to completely different places. Now, the way the author does this is really cool. They use a technique called antithetical parallelism. I know it sounds super academic, but the idea is actually pretty simple. You just state a truth, and then in the very next line, you state its complete opposite. It creates this powerful contrast that just hammers the message home. It's pretty much the engine that drives this entire chapter. Before we proceed, let's read the chapter in its entirety.
The following is Proverbs chapter 12, verses 1 through 28 from the New Living Translation. To learn, you must love discipline. It is stupid to hate correction. The Lord approves of those who are good, but he condemns those who plan wickedness. Wickedness never brings stability, but the godly have deep roots. A worthy wife is a crown for her husband, but a disgraceful woman is like cancer in his bones. The plans of the godly are just. The advice of the wicked is treacherous. The words of the wicked are like a murderous ambush, but the words of the godly save lives. The wicked die and disappear, but the family of the godly stands firm. A sensible person wins admiration, but a warped mind is despised. Better to be an ordinary person with a servant than to be self-important but have no food. The godly care for their animals, but the wicked are always cruel. A hard worker has plenty of food, but a person who chases fantasies has no sense. Thieves are jealous of each other's loot, but the godly are well-rooted and bear their own fruit. The wicked are trapped by their own words, but the godly escape such trouble. Wise words bring many benefits, and hard work brings rewards. Fools think their own way is right, but the wise listen to others. A fool is quick-tempered, but a wise person stays calm when insulted. An honest witness tells the truth, a false witness tells lies. Some people make cutting remarks, but the words of the wise bring healing. Truthful words stand the test of time, but lies are soon exposed. Deceit fills hearts that are plotting evil. Joy fills hearts that are planning peace. No harm comes to the godly, but the wicked have their fill of trouble. The Lord detests lying lips, but he delights in those who tell the truth. The wise don't make a show of their knowledge, but fools broadcast their foolishness. Work hard and become a leader. Be lazy and become a slave. Worry weighs a person down. An encouraging word cheers a person up. The godly give good advice to their friends. The wicked lead them astray. Lazy people don't even cook the game they catch, but the diligent make use of everything they find. The way of the godly leads to life. That path does not lead to death. End of chapter.
So let's ask this question. Where does this big split happen? Where's the fork in the road? Well, it's not some huge dramatic event. It starts somewhere much quieter, somewhere inside each of us. It all begins with your mindset. And here's the first major split. The godly path is all about having righteous plans and a teachable spirit. Get this, the godly actually love discipline because they're hungry to learn and grow. But the wicked's path is marked by sneaky advice and a stubborn refusal to be corrected. They think their own way is the only right way. It's kind of like that one friend who insists on using a paper map from 1995 while you're trying to use a live traffic app. That's the first critical choice right there. This verse just nails it. It really all boils down to this. Are you teachable or are you arrogant? Are you willing to listen to good advice? Or do you walk around assuming you've got it all figured out? You see, the very thing that makes a fool is they're completely blind to the fact that they need help. That one choice sets the whole trajectory of a life. And you know, what starts in the mind rarely stays locked up in there for long. It always finds a way out through our mouths. Our words become the next giant signpost, telling the whole world which path we're actually on. The contrast here is just wild. I mean, on one hand, you have words that literally save lives, that bring healing, that speak truth that lasts. And on the other hand, the words of the wicked are described as a murderous ambush. They're lies. They're sharp, cutting remarks that just tear people down. The text is making it crystal clear. Our words have the power of life and death. This verse illustrates the point so perfectly. Think about that imagery. Cutting remarks are like being stabbed with a sword. In our world, that sword could be a vicious rumor, a nasty online comment, or weaponized gossip. But on the other path, words are like medicine. The words of the godly bring health and they restore. The big takeaway is that our words are never neutral. They are always either building up or tearing down. Okay, so we've covered our thoughts and our words, but what good are they if you don't actually do anything? The next logical step is action. Now we get to see how these two paths show up in the real world of work, ambition, and actually building a life. The text draws a super clear line from your work ethic to your outcome. The godly path is about hard work. That diligence leads to leadership and using every resource you have. The wicked path is all about chasing fantasies. You know, the modern day get-rich-quick schemes. It's about laziness that ultimately leads to being a slave to your circumstances. There's even this incredible line about the lazy person not even bothering to cook the game they catch. Can you imagine a more perfect picture of wasted opportunity? So, as we see someone follow this godly path with the right mindset, healing words, and diligent actions, a powerful metaphor starts to take shape. It's the image of a strong tree with deep, unshakable roots in a world that so often feels like a hurricane. This becomes the key symbol for the kind of stability that godliness produces. So, what does it really mean to have deep roots? We're not just talking about being financially stable. We're talking about an inner stability that can handle life's storms. A job loss, a health crisis, you name it. It means you bear your own fruit. You're productive. It means your family stands on solid ground. It's a foundation that no matter what life throws at you, that you shall not be moved. And this stability is deep-rooted in a life that's been built piece by piece. This deep-rooted stability finds its most powerful expression in our closest relationships. And the text uses a really striking analogy involving a spouse to show the ultimate impact of our character right there in the home. Just look at this comparison for a second. It is absolutely staggering. A worthy partner who is the product of a well-lived life is a crown, a source of honor and glory for the other person. But a disgraceful partner results in a life of foolishness and is like a cancer in the bones. It's not just some external problem. It's an internal, inescapable pain that rots you from the inside out. It just goes to show that the path we choose has a profound impact, not just on us, but on the people we love the most. All right, so we've followed these two paths from the starting line, in our minds, all the way to their impact on our homes. The only question left is, where do they end up? What's the final destination of each of these journeys? And here we have it, the final verdict laid out as plainly as it gets. The godly path leads to life. It creates a real legacy, a family that stands firm, a reputation that lasts. But the wicked path, it leads to death. And it doesn't just end, it vanishes. The text literally says they disappear into nothing. They are overthrown and are no more. It's a chilling picture of a life that just evaporates, leaving nothing of value behind. And this verse really serves as the final mic drop statement of the entire chapter. After all the back and forth and all the comparisons, this is the bottom line. The choice isn't between two equally good lifestyles. According to this text, it's a choice between life and and its absolute opposite depth. So let's recap the whole journey we've traced because it follows this perfect logical flow. It all starts with that internal choice in your mind. Be teachable or be arrogant. That choice is then revealed to the world by your words. Do they heal or do they hurt? Those words are then built into reality by your actions. Are you diligent or are you lazy? And finally, all those actions together determine your final destination, a lasting legacy or total oblivion. You know, in the end, this ancient text isn't just describing two paths for us to think about. It's presenting them as a choice. The map is completely laid out. It shows the starting point, the journey, and the final destination of each. And so, the question it leaves us with is a really personal one. Which path will you walk? Before we head out, I definitely want to give a shout out and a thanks to all the listeners for stopping by to check out another episode of Unseen Yet Unstoppable. Whether you're in the gym, in your car, or just being intentional with taking time out to get a better understanding of the Word, please like, subscribe, and put on your notifications, and we'll catch you next time with another deep dive. Peace.